All right, so I'll talk about a paper that I found recently, and it's by Ehsan. Okay, and since I was doing research on the topic, open source, threat intelligence with AI, and that's very close to the subject I'm researching on in this paper, and I really liked the idea of a domain-specific LLM models. And this is a very interesting. Took that research paper and put that into Notebook LM, and I'm not going to do that again, so it's already here, so you see it. Okay, so I was doing it a couple of days back. So with Notebook LM, you have so many things. You add the resource here, the source here, and that you want to search on. So you can do multiple things: video overview, audio overview, mind map. So the first thing I typically do is I look for the mind map, because that helps me in connecting the dots. So since I've already done that, I'm not doing that again. So I just generated the mind map with Notebook LM. So here you can see from this paper, these are the key main dots from where you would begin. So the first item here is core enhancements. So these are the core enhancement that they have done. The foundation is ModernBert. So I'm not going to go through each and every item here because it's a lot. So I'll quickly take you, once we go through this, I'll quickly take you to the app that I built to test this, because I got super excited about SecureBERT, especially this 2.0 version. So just wanted to quickly show you that with mind map, you can connect all the dots which are there in the paper so that you get the right understanding. So we'll quickly go through few things at high level. I'm not going to dig deeper into any of these things. So architecture base, the foundation is ModernBert. The long context modeling, hierarchical encoding, hybrid tokenization, and then the pre-training, massive corpus, which is 13 times than the previous version, again 3.6 plus billion text tokens and these many million core tokens, and dual modality text and the source code. So all that good stuff here. And the interesting thing is, more you get into each node, you see more details, or connect those dots again to create a big picture in your head. So pre-training details, architecture, which I already mentioned, it's on ModernBert, which has the extended attention mechanism, handles complex hierarchical documents, efficient memory management. And then if you expand dataset specifications, so you can see the seed corpus and all other things: reasoning, focus, instruction, tuning, cybersecurity dialog data, code vulnerability, original baseline data set, and all those things. And this one gives the view on the strategy. What are the primary objectives? So they're using very interesting thing: masked language modeling, MLM, augmented MLM. So basically, in MLM, in their testing, they mask a few words and ask a question, and then it fills the details, which tells that how much context knowledge it has. So that's very easily covered by the video overview. You can see that. If I have to do it here, I can just click on one of these items and it would give me more details. For example, I clicked on that, then I'm here, and it's going to give me, discuss what these sources say about primary objective, masked language model, and all that. So you can go through these details. So that's the advantage, that anything you want to go deeper, you can just click on it and it will go deeper. So with that, we'll quickly go through. So this was pre-training strategy, then downstream application and results. So these are document embeddings. I'll show you that I'm doing exactly this in my application, not this one, but this as well as this. I'm doing that in the app that I've created. And then these are the model capabilities and knowledge. So interprets specialized terminology, process complex document structures, understands natural language and source code interdependence, learns programming structure, encoded security concepts and all. And these are the future directions: scaling model capacity, integration into security pipelines, like sign, source, benchmark development, and expanding applications. It has further nodes: exploit detection, log anomaly detection, policy, compliance mapping, attack campaign. So you click on each and then you will get the details of that. So I think I have expanded all of the nodes from architecture to training data to, yeah, I think I've covered most of it. Now I'll take you to, so these are a few other things. You can take notes. I have many questions, okay, on the architecture, on the limitations, on various other stuff. So I keep asking those questions. I get the details, and that gives me a really amazing insights about it. And I can do further stuff, but that is for some other day. I can create reports. I can create infographic, use based on the content here, and to understand, to get the bigger picture. So all those things I can do. Now, since I had that, I went through the research paper, and I also found, so this is where I posted. So I found the GitHub repo, found the model, the Hugging Face, and even the collab. I started with the collab notebook, by the way. Was not so much fun. So what I did, I went to my cursor and created a Streamlit app. It's really, I would convert that into modular later. It's just on the Sunday morning. I got some time, so I simply created, it's a single a file which has all that, and the size went up and up. I was just interested in seeing how it would behave. So now this is already open, it's already running. Okay, so these are few. Okay, so once we see this on here, 1 second. So this is the app. Okay, so I'll, 1 second. I would have to do a few things. Probably, yeah. First thing first, I would just show you the one side of the story, which is the main features of the SecureBERT2, and then I'll stop the recording. I would start the recording again to show you the other bit, the Q&A chatbot that I created with that uses RAG, and where it uses RAG and all that. So so basically what you do, let me 1 second, let me just restart this application so that you get an idea from the very starting. So I'm stopping my app, starting that again. It's a Streamlit app. So first thing first, I need to load the models. Loaded NER, model, encoder, cross encoder, base model. Okay, so this is at the top. It explains what each one does. It does the entity extraction, and these are the type of entities it extracts. This was semantic search and document embedding. This one is semantic ranking and relevance scoring, and this one is the to understand text. So when I was doing, I picked up a big report to analyze, and later on I found that that was not the right thing to do, because I was getting a lot of text which was not fitting properly. There were a lot of junk showing up in the different categories, the entity category. So I'll remove this one. I would use this one which has the clear-cut IOCs in it. So this is McAfee on article research article on this malware, banking Trojan, abusing GitHub for resilience, and all the details by the researchers, and you have IOC. So clicking that link and to achieve NER, and then the other stuff that is there. And additional stuff is because I'm using chatbot, which also uses RAG, and which obviously uses vector database. So in part B, I would show you what, but in part A itself, which is all this stuff, it would load all these entity data into the vector DB as well. So I'm removing this. I'm putting this article here, okay, which I have the IOCs and all, and then I will do fetch from URL and then analyze the report. So it takes the text, converts them into chunks, and then it does the creating document embeddings. Done that. Now we can go to results. And by the way, I had to do a lot of circus in the code to get few things right. 1 second. I would get rid of this. It just doesn't work. I was having the wrong expectations from BERT. I mean, obviously it's a secure BERT, but it doesn't generate text. So key insights doesn't make sense here. So it would do the NER extraction and all these features that you see here, encoding and all. So without going into theory, so let's look at what it has fetched. So it fetched all these domains from that report, these hashes, these IP addresses, indicators, and this one is I need to still do some circus to make this thing right, because we do have we do have these specific categories already where we are capturing the indicators, and then all the indicators are collectively getting added here. So that is not making sense. So I would fix this one or get rid of that entity or this category if needed, because it's taking all the hashes, all the domains, and putting it single as indicators, and not very cleanly added as well. Now, another challenge that I had was the malware was like taking all the random words and putting in under this category of entity. I cleaned that up, but still you would see a few things which are not malware. Obviously this is not a malware. Even this is not a malware. So earlier I had around 20 or 30 random words along with the actual malware. But I come down to 4 now. I will further play with the code and get this thing fixed. But it looks much better. I have two junk words here, but still. Then here is the junk still lives here in these two. I won't show you this. It's a pure junk. Just look at what I'm saying. When I say junk, what I mean. So it is for organizations, but it has these. So I would have to work on this one, or maybe get rid of that. Whether do we need it or not, right? So then system again is the same story, right? Do I really need it? If I don't need it, then either I would get rid of it or I would ignore. Then we have URLs, right? Now all this has gone inside the, so it also notes down or fetches the tactics for tactics and basically TTPs. So for tactics is the persistence techniques. Not so clean again. Yeah, so this probably is not right. So yeah, I think need to do some cleanup here as well. So maybe I would get rid of this. This is not clean. So just these two, entity details and semantic analysis. Yeah. So That's the part A where the SecureBERT comes in. So I'm just using the entity extraction feature and the semantic search, semantic ranking, and relevance scoring, and general understanding of the text in this part. Right. The part two is where Q&A and RAG and all that comes in. Why I'm doing this? Because I picked up a report, right? So like this report, and I want to dig deeper. I would start asking questions, precise questions, so using RAG, and then in the vector database, these entities go and live in the vector database. So my questions would be related to these. Okay, what is this? All these domains about, right? And what is happening with the domains? What is happening with the hashes? And maybe further on, can you go there and check about the hashes as well? So those are the later stages things, but right now it has fetched these hashes. So you can play some automation on this and get details on that. And you can ask questions on thing like this, the IP here, right? So I would use these three for mostly this and this. Hashes, I need to check more how to connect with the something like virus tool or malware bazaar or something to get details of the hashes that I have. Most likely, since I know this is coming from a particular report, so I know it's related to the malware that we are discussing, which is this guy here, right? So those files related to that. But still, there should be automation. If you see hashes, what else you can make out from those hashes. So that something I would cover with Q&A. Chatbot, the thing is why I have to pause the recording is I have to put my openAI API key here to do that, and obviously I'm not going to record it, right? So, all right, so I'll stop the recording for now. I've put my API key. API key is configured now. Now we'll go to Q&A chatbot. It tells, okay, what it's a RAG powered Q&A chatbot powered by OpenAI GPT. Clearly tells that don't expect the secure BERT functionality here because the text generation, report generation, and all that is done by a different model, not SecureBERT, because that's not what SecureBERT does. Okay, so the sequence is question received, chatbot receives the question of the user, then it goes to the vector database, which has all the entities taken by the SecureBERT by encoder. And then it retrieves a context, retrieves top K most semantically similar chunks using SecureBERT2 embeddings. Then it creates the comprehensive prompt. And then answer generation happens using these models. It generates intelligent answer from the RAG context that it has created from here. And in this case, I've also enabled an external OSINT. Have been testing without it, but okay, since I'm recording, I would go and do that. And for explainable AI, I've kept the source attribution and all that, which you would get later. So these are some questions which are ready questions. I'll probably play with some of them, but let me try something. Okay, let's try this. Ready question. Okay, what are the key findings in this report? So basically, it's about a Trojan, banking Trojan. So most of nice. You find relevant. Oh, nice, very good. Okay. Okay. Right. What malware families are mentioned in this report? Okay, let's see. Nice, that worked. So I would investigate why the key findings maybe it did not find any context key findings as a context in. So I need to see what it needs to be smart enough to understand what the question is, and then it should be able to fetch all there is, although it's not asking about key findings about ransomware, key findings about X or Y, it's just very generic. So I would investigate that. But since we're talking about malware, we had two keywords there, two junk words and two keywords. Yeah, there was a banking malware Dridex. So that word, although it's a junk word from a malware perspective, but it is connected with Dridex, which was banking. So you can see it's talking about it. Now let's look at what it has generated to OpenAI. Roth, this is a primary malware family discussed in the report. It is characterized. So this is making sense, right? It's there in the rack, and that's what the report was about. It is also doing the citation from which chunk it got the context, and then additional context. The report also references banking malware and Dridex as part of. Okay, banking malware and the Dridex as part of the broader context of malware families, although specific details about their activities are not provided. Okay. Actionable insights, monitor for Roth, given its prevalence. So this is for the user to take actions and all that, monitoring and investigate related malware. Yeah, and then it gives the citations. I need to check why it did not. Okay, because I think the reasoning is if you find context here, if you find answers internally, then you don't go, even if it's enabled. But I would see if it should still go out to find answers. So these are the other things: primary sources or CTI report, 3 chunks used, and yeah. So that's one of the things that I have used. Let us see which else I can play with. Selectors. Who are the? Okay, let's give it a try. I don't see any keyword for actors there, so most likely we should not see much. Okay, malware. Yeah, I think what I've also observed was that the automation that I've done, it's not an observation, it's actually what I asked Cursor to do was, because there is no specific entity like threat actor. So include things inside the malware entity if it's so. Although in this text you don't see it, but it in other cases where the ransomware actors are mentioned, it might still be seen in the malware entity here in the report, not in the entity, which is part A, which is using SecureBERT to extract entities. So yeah, summary of findings. Report includes various malware families such as Roth, Dridex, but it does not link these to specific threat actors. Very good. I like it. It has separated malware from the threat actors. No attribution as per the report. The extracted entities do not include any identifiable. Yeah, so this is where it is going by. It's not hallucinating. It is not making any guesses. It's based on the extracted entities. They do not include any identifiable threat actor names or groups. I know because I've seen it. It did in the yeah, there is one entity where I saw this junk, right? So which do not provide actionable insights regarding specific. So this is junk. So I need to fix the junk as well. Yeah, so that's where I feel I was expecting the entity extraction to be much cleaner in part A, that is SecureBERT part, where if I take you to the results, right? So I was expecting this to be slightly cleaner. I was not expecting that I need to write code to clean this, right? I didn't want to do that. Okay, let's do some more fun stuff. Yeah, IP address. Yeah, let's ask few interesting questions. Come on. Uh, okay. Hopefully it has enough context in the question. So these tunings, I just spent 2 hours on Sunday to build this application. I didn't have time on Sunday after I built it to um, record session and share it with people. That's what I'm doing right now. After I'm done with my day and all, kids are sleeping, and I'm finally in front of my lab, and I can record this session. So what you can see the interesting stuff. My question was, in the report there are IP addresses and domains. For what purpose is Auth using them? So it's the interesting finding. So analysis, let's see what it says. Yes, Auth malware campaign utilizes specific IP addresses and domains primarily for C2 infra. This infra is essential for the malware's operational effectiveness, particularly in its ability to steal sensitive information such as password. Yeah, so if you are in this domain, you imagine that would be the case. But since I did not read the report myself, I saw the IOCs and all, I wanted to just see that, okay, is my understanding without even reading the report that those domains and IPs are for that purpose. Yeah, it is for that purpose. So C2 infra, that's what C2 communication is critical for managing infected systems and exfil the stolen data according to context chunk tools. The C2 infrastructure and malware configuration are depicted, indicating that these components are integral to malware's functionality. Then geographical targeting. The campaign has a notable focus on South America. As indicated in context chunk 3, the geographical targeting suggests that IP addresses and domains are likely optimized for operations within that region. And then you get into the actual entities, the IP address. This is the IP, one of the identified IP address that we saw in the entities associated with the Auth C2 operations. And then domains. Several domains are linked to the Auth campaign, including these. Other domains related to the malware operations are also noted, such as these. .br looks like Brazilian, and various nblock subdomains, which I also observed, and I was wondering when is it going to call it. So it did call that out. So actionable insight for the threat analyst. So this is where the insights are coming. Monitoring and blocking. Analysts should monitor traffic to inform the IP address this, and the associated domains, implementing blocking rules, and these are the guidelines. Then geo awareness, given the malware's focus on South America, organization operating in or with ties in this region should enhance their security posture, particularly around credential management and all that. Then the IR, if any of the identified domains or IP addresses are found in the network logs, immediate investigation and incident reports actually should be initiated to assess potential compromise. So this is interesting. I mean, on one side, you got the report using SecureBERT2. You put that in the using NER model. You extracted the entities and put them into a vector DB. And this is not a permanent vector DB because this was just 2 hours I spent. I would create a proper vector DB, proper embedding and all, which I've done in my previous apps, which you can see on my YouTube channel, which you can subscribe and like. Yeah, so I've done the RAG with Azure Search and openAI models in another application. I probably would use some of those for a proper RAG, but I really was excited about this when I found that the paper, and I saw that, yeah, we have a domain specific model, and we can do a lot of good stuff with that, and I was interested, and I'm sure it's not just meant for reading a single report. I'm gonna scale this for multiple reports. Initially, I would pick some other AV vendor research articles and study that in a way which I just showed you, that okay, what came in, what is interesting, what are the insights and all. So you can clearly do that. You know who these AV vendors are, and their search articles keep coming. And if you are interested student, then probably an app like that would be super useful for you, right? And keep cleaning up and keep optimizing your app. So that's about this. Yeah. So my final thing would be, I think SecureBERT2 is not ready to go in production in a what you call as is. You might have to do some post processing. Once you run it, you might need to do some post processing to get your entities clean in their respective sections, right? Otherwise, you might end up with things like this, which you would have to clean up, right? So that post processing work might be needed. It's not just ready to jump or ready to go model. Fine tuning and post processing and things like that would be required. But having said this, this is an amazing model. A lot of amazing possibility with this. So hats off to Ehsan and his team, the great research work that they have done. Kudos to their work, and it was really worth spending time in this lab for their research. I would continue to work on this, and yeah, I'll probably share my thoughts going forward. Thanks so much.